This is absolutely brilliant. This is probably going to be the hardest talk I have done. I actually just finished a training workshop, and it's hard because I typically do this in 3 hours, and I think what do I have? 12 minutes to go through helping people learn how to coach, product people. But for those that don't know me, quick introduction: I am one of 6 partners at the Silicon Valley Product Group. Which, if you've read the book Inspire, this is founded by Matty Kagan. We are all people that have worked in product roles, that have led product teams, that have been product executives, that have led measured transformations. I led the transformation at Merrill Corporation. I built how modern people find jobs today with Career Builder and Snag a Job, and helped companies like Indeed and Glassdoor. And I have been in the trenches, not just as a product person dealing, but as a leader of product teams for the last 20 years. Now I'm accelerating a great story of my life to get here, because I think it's more important for us to get into the heart of our conversation today. But, first of all, I want to make sure you all are in the right room in terms of why you may have selected to be in this conversation. If none of these stories resonate with you, maybe you can log out now. If you've never had an employee or worked with someone who was super smart but an a-hole, wrong room for you. If maybe you've hired some rock star, this guy was so good or this girl was so good at some big firm or some big company, and you bring them into your company and they are struggling to perform. Or maybe you have that employee that is always anxious about everything, or the employee that is never happy with where they are or what they're doing. They always are eager. I want a promotion. It's always not enough. Things are stressing me out. Or the what I call the recognition addict employee. Everything is all about me kind of stuff. Or the employee who always appears to be misunderstood by everything. Or the one that has an excuse for everything. I know this one is not on your team. The employee that has poor performance that is still in the company somehow. That's the cockroach employee. They somehow survive all kinds of battles and they are always there, right? Now, if you've never encountered any of these kinds of problems, or any of the problems I listed there, like poor performance, poor teamwork, doesn't respond to change, poor work ethic, arrogance, then, maybe this coaching dojo will not resonate with you. Now, if for some reason you're still hanging out, I am going to assume that you care about people in some ways, but you may say to yourself, well, I'm in product, why should I really care about all of these people problems? Well, here's some guru Matty Kagan wisdom, right? Great products come from great product teams. Great product teams are made up of ordinary people. Now, if you buy into this, coaching is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary product teams. This is why you should be here. Now, Matty will also say, look, in an agile team or in an empowered product organization, you don't need less leadership and management, you need better. The truth is, when companies make a switch to agile, the management team seems to back off a little bit. This is probably the single biggest stressor for me in my career today. The fact that I look at so many super talented people. This is the narrative. Product people are smart. They are driven, they are independent, they are self-starters. They can figure it all by themselves. The reality is that these people need to be managed and coached even more. They are left to succeed, to discover their own career path, their own career growth. Now, before I jump in, I want to make sure I'm clear, because you hear me say leadership and management. These roles could differ in several ways. The role of leadership is twofold. Strategic context. Why are we here? Where are we going? What's our purpose? What's our vision? How do we plan to get there? Your strategy. How do we organize ourselves to do that? That's what we call strategic context. And then culture. the language, the behaviors, the environment in which we do the why. This is the role of leadership. Now, in almost all cases, leaders are managers, but not in all cases are managers leaders. You know, the bigger the organization goes, you're just the manager of people. Now, I don't know how many people know Bill Campbell. He was very, very stern that not a lot of people write about him in his life. He passed away a couple of years ago. But when you think about Steve Jobs of Apple, or Jeff Bezos of Amazon, or Larry and Sergey at Google, different companies, different cultures, different leaders, the one thing they had in common was that they were coached by the same person, by this guy, right? Now, there's a great book that Eric Schmidt of Google co-wrote around his life. It's called The $1 Trillion Coach. Excellent book. Now, one of the quotes in there is like, leadership is about recognizing the greatness in everyone, and your job is to create an environment where that greatness can emerge. Now, in some ways, this may differ from management in some ways, right? Mike Fisher and Matty Abbott, they were ex-Navy SEALs. You know, Mike is CTO of Etsy. Matty Abbott was CTO of PayPal and eBay. But to say, look, leadership serves to inspire people, while management motivates them to the objective. Let me be clear about the role of management, okay? If you are a manager of people, your job is to find, attract, recruit, and hire the best talent for your company, to coach and retain them, and to align them to what's important. Nothing else matters. That is like a literally full stop. I know, it's scary. We're like, well, what about the HR reports? What about the performance review? What about the documentation about this? The role of leadership is to stress out the purpose. This is why we're here. This is what's important. This is where we're going. This is what's important now. Set the environment, the investments to do that. The role of a manager, let's find the people to go after that purpose. And let me coach those people to excellence. Now, people will ask me, well, I've got a lot of people, but why should I be the coach? Who should coach your people, you know? And Bill will say, look, coaching is not a specialty job. I get companies that hire coaches for people. His argument is you cannot be a good manager without being a good coach. I typically love the manager of people to be their coach as well. Look, let's not be fooled by this idea of coaching. Name me the best athlete in any sport in the world, and I will show you that they have a coach. This is not about, I have great people, they don't need to be coached. I like managers to coach their own team because they have skin in the game. When you hire an employee, you make a social contract with them. You say to someone, right? Hi, Jennifer. We value your experience and expertise, and we believe that your contribution to our company will help us in solving meaningful problems for customers, which will help us meet our business objectives. In exchange for you bringing your expertise and experience to us, I will invest in your professional and personal growth and development. Yes, this is the internal contract that people come into a company with. Now, I get people that say, if I ask someone on this call, what is the number one reason people leave companies? Well, I want to hear some responses. You guys have to practice talking to me. What's the number one reason people leave companies?
They're managers.
Okay, I like all the, yes, let's practice the unmuting. This is true. It's like a known fact, but it's almost one of those like, we say it and then we go back on in business as usual. The number one reason is manager. Okay, let's go on. This is because we underestimate the value and the importance of this singular role. It's like people don't leave companies, they leave bad managers. The singular defining aspect of this management entity is the trust and value they make in your personal growth and development. All right, now that we framed that, let's get into the dojo. You know, before I go into this, I want to talk about mindset. Okay, because I was, I figured initially I would do breakouts and I'll practice coaching and I'll go into that. Like, I don't have enough time for all of this. So I want to even make sure that people have the right mindset when we talk about coaching before we actually go into this, because in some ways you could undermine the intent if you don't have a good mindset, right? It's like if you're thinking one-on-one is like a status update and you're like, I'm now going to do it because you taught me one-on-ones, then it's bad, right? The mindset is about the foundation of intent. So we're going to go into this. Okay, I'm going to go over some principles that define the mindset of good coaching and good management here. And if you don't agree with me, speak up. Let's talk about them. All right. The first one, okay, we all have to come to terms with it. Developing people is job number one. It is the job of the manager to coach their employees to competency. You have the skills enough to do this job. And then to their potential. This is the next level you're going to get to. It's amazing and distressing how few managers subscribe to this principle, that this is their number one job. Most people say the right things. The team is important, but their actions tell a different story, right? They say, okay, what's your role here? I measure my results as an aggregate of the product outcomes. If you believe that your job, the value of your job is, look at how many products we launched today. Look at how many tasks we checked off a list. Then this principle is a little distressing for you. The single measuring outcome for me as my career as a leader is not the hundreds of products I have built. It's the amount of lives I have impacted as a leader. I was doing a coaching training and I brought in previous employees. I was counting my last direct reports in the last 10 years of my operational job career. Every single one of those product managers are either heads of products, CEO, or company founder today. That is the more rewarding aspect of it. If you're a manager, you should be spending most of your time and energy on coaching your team. This means real efforts like assessing your team, creating plans for your teams, helping people get to the next level, helping people get promoted. You measure your success in job performance on the success of your team members, not the success of your products. We can end this conversation now if you're like, no. I want all the credit for building this product, not for the people building the product. If this principle is distressing, there's no need to get into the dojo and fight. All right, are we still tracking? Okay. Number two, empowering people produces the best results. Many managers may see their job as driving down a list of tasks and activities for their team. You may get some few tactical successes in this, but your product will never reach its full potential. Empowering means you create an environment where your people can own outcomes and not just tasks. This doesn't mean less management, it means better management, right? You must step back, create the space, you step into removing impediments, you clarify context, you provide guidance. You want a team of missionaries, people that understand the why. I can look at a culture and my sniff test is I go to an engineer or a product manager and I say, what are you working on? Oh, I'm building this new product. I say, why are you doing it? If an engineer says, well, my product manager told me, you have a mercenary. If your product manager says, because my manager told me, they have a mercenary. It was the story assigned to me. It came from the roadmap. They are not connected to the why. You want an empowered team. You've got to believe this for the mindset to work. Okay. Beware of your own insecurities. Let me tell you the story of how this goes. Okay? Because I see this story over and over again. Jamie is an amazing product manager. Jamie has been a product manager for 7 years. Jamie is feeling a little itchy, I don't really feel like I'm growing in my career. Life is not feeling great. I don't feel recognized. People think I'm great, but I don't feel growing, and we don't want to lose Jamie. So we're going to promote Jamie to manager of product manager or director of product because we don't want to lose Jamie. Now, Jamie has never been a manager of people in her life, but nobody ever taught Jamie how to be a manager of people. She was an excellent product manager. So now Jamie is now a manager. She may have gotten a new HR handbook. She's never interviewed people, hired people, fired people, coached people. She actually had a terrible manager. That's why she felt bad in the first place. So now all of a sudden, Jamie feels a little insecure and incompetent. Nobody is praising her like they used to do. Jamie, great job. You know, she's like, so what is Jamie going to do? Jamie says, when I was a product manager, everybody loved me. Now I'm a manager, everybody hates me. So I am going to compete with my team every time there's product management work, because I used to love that attention and that praise. It's very hard to empower her people because you're worried about being recognized for their contribution. You cannot see your team's success as yours. Now, I'm saying this because this is a lot of people go through this cycle. This is a fundamental, unfortunate truth. Many managers don't know what good coaching is because they haven't had good coaching in their own careers. It's not a deliberate design like, I am not going to coach people well. It's just like, I don't even know what good coaching is. My manager just gave me a list to do and checked in once a year and then wrote me a crappy review, and then I had to kiss their ass to get a bonus. Welcome to the world. Right? I want to be clear that this is not about being arrogant. You know, if anything, arrogance itself is frequently a manifestation of insecurity. Most good managers have a healthy level of humility, and they're always exploring and working to improve their own performance and growth. You know, you can have these feelings without micromanaging or undermining your team. Okay, I want to run through this because I want to get to some meaningful tactical stuff here. All right, cultivate diverse points of view. See, an insecure manager may suppress opinions that are different from her own. This obviously impedes the development of a team. See, good management recognizes diversity in thought strengthens the product. They also know they don't have a monopoly on good ideas. They know that the best ones actually don't come from them. See, the better managers are all strength finders. I believe in like super strength finding, especially in the workplace. Seriously, like, why in the world do I care about your weaknesses? Did you hire anybody in your company because you're like, I am terrible at dealing with people? That is exactly what we want. You're hired. No, you hired somebody because of what you thought their strengths were. So why in the world do you go crazy about like focusing on the strengths? This is a trust thing. You know, Pranav, you are excellent at this, but you suck at this. That's okay. It's like we are playing soccer. I can't be like, goalie, you suck at scoring. What? You're a goalie. Like that is, you know, does he suck at goalie? No. You hire diverse strengths to your team because it enables your team to win at the game of building amazing products. Your customers are also diverse. The diversity of thoughts, strengths, backgrounds strengthens your products. You embrace it. I struggle with this when I hear companies say, we want to hire for cultural fit. What in the world does cultural fit mean? This ends up meaning hire people that look like me. That's what a manager does. Well, they like me, I'm a manager, so I'm going to hire somebody that thinks like me, talks like me, acts like me. Okay, I can't beat this one up enough. I don't have enough time to do it. Okay, I'm not suggesting consensus of opinion. As a manager, you're helping your teams learn how to make good decisions collaboratively, leveraging the strengths and the expertise of each person. Okay, seek out teaching moments. You know, I am the king of lecture and lesson. Every single thing is a teaching moment. This is what managers do. You know, my brother always used to say to me, he's like, you know, if you're raising kids, people overstate the purpose of being a parent. And it's like, it's almost the same when you have employees. Your job is very simple: to support them and inspire them to success. And it's like, just be overcomplicated. And so as a coach, you're in a unique position to see people's potential and to encourage them and walk through the adversity in their career to get people there. You're going to create discomfort. You see, but the fundamental aspect of this is trust, and we'll talk about this. Because if you don't trust me, all of this is dead in the water. Right? Reaching someone's potential just doesn't mean I'm addressing the gaps in your competence. It means I'm recognizing your inherent strengths and I'm helping you grow through it. Okay? All right. Have the courage to correct mistakes. I'll be very pointed about this one. It's very simple. You may reach a point where somebody cannot be coached or helped. It is the hardest principle for managers to follow. Coaching is about development. So you're looking for people's problems as opportunities to develop. You're telling them how to walk through this. You're walking with them through it. If they cannot get through it, it is okay to coach them out of the organization and into a role that they may be fit. All right. Before we get into some techniques here, continuously earn the trust of your team. No coaching effort is effective without trust. This is something you cannot demand or expect to happen on its own. It comes from continuously demonstrating through your actions and commitment that you are invested in the success of people. This is the weirdest dynamic I see with people. You know, someone says, Stephanie, you suck as a public speaker. Stephanie, go get better as a public speaker. Really? Do you think if Stephanie doesn't want to get better, if she could do it on her own, she would have done it already? It is the weirdest dynamic when I see managers tell employees what they need to get better. Come back in 3 months and I want to see how better you've gotten at writing OKRs. You sucked at doing it. Who coached them to get better? This is not magic, right? These are humans and you're asking for a change, a progressional development. If that was the case, our kids don't need to go to school. They don't need to be coached. They just need to just go play every game and do every job. Okay, I will back off on this. Let's get into some Dojo things because I want to talk about trust. The most effective way that I tackle trust early is through onboarding. I can be the chief product officer of the biggest company in the world. I personally onboard every single person in the product organization. Now, why do I do this? Because I recognize in the first 90 days, trust is probably the most foundational thing for success. I want to do a couple of things. I want the new product manager or the new person in product to trust me. To trust me, they have to know me. To trust me, they may have to like me in some ways, but they have to always assume positive intent. Remember, trust is predicated on two things: competence and character. Right? Do you have the skills to do the job? And do I trust that you have the integrity or the positive intent to do it? I also want the organization to trust the person. The way I do that is by lending my trust to them. And I want the team to trust them. See, this is what drives me crazy. You hire a product manager, or you hire a new designer or a new engineer. You now throw them in the team. Go build products on day one. If I am an engineer, I have been at the company for 17 years. You want me to trust whatever this person tells me to do and just do it? As much as I like you, I don't know you. And even if I knew you, I know for a fact that you know nothing about our company because you just joined the company. We set up our employees for mistrust on day one because we throw them directly into executional activities without building a foundation of trust. So what do? Okay, I do a new employee bootcamp, right? Now, what do I dedicate a week and I get every new employee that joins the product organization to go through this. And there are a couple of things, you know, my sense with this is, why does the military have a boot camp? Before people get in. People say, oh, well, it's so that people can get in shape, so that they can evaluate you before you join the team. They are doing a lot of things. The military has a boot camp because when somebody comes into the military and you've gone through boot camp, the people that are there know that you're fit enough to do the work with them. They trust that you've gotten the skills to support them because the military is about common intent. They have my back. They know how to shoot a firearm and they will not shoot me. These things are trust elements. They have a boot camp to provide context. Where are we going? Why are you? You're part of a team. They have a boot camp to build relationships. When you go through stress or pressure together, you build friendships that last forever. They do a boot camp to discover and learn more about the organization, and then to tactically learn the skills they need to execute. So I take that same mindset and I design a boot camp, right? I do this on a cadence to the extent that my recruiting team knows that we hire in these pockets, because as the head of product, I do this myself. So what goes into the boot camp? Strategic context. People need to be clear about the vision of the company, our strategy. They need to understand the historical context, how things came to be. They need to learn about all the drivers in the business. Where do they learn that? Than from the person that is shaping it as the leader. Now, I want to make sure I'm communicating that to you. I also focus heavily on relationships to build trust. Several times in the boot camp, I bring the team of people that they are working into the boot camp. Where do you practice collaboration? How do you practice working with your designer and with your lead engineer? How do you discover techniques? Because what happens is we throw them in with new partners, and they now not only have to learn how to work with them, they also have to learn who they are. So I create a safe space to do this. Let me give you some emotional intelligence black belt techniques here, because this is what the dojo is about. People truly don't care how you know things. They just care that you know. If I said, what's 1 + 1? Everybody here will say, we know it's 2. Now, who remembers the exact day that you learned that 1 + 1 is 2? Now, what if you remember? We don't care. That's just no good to us. People also often forget how you learn, but what's important to them is that you know. So I'm saying this because, what are the techniques I use in onboarding is to build trust with the business. You all have that very annoying stakeholder in your organization, whether it's the head of sales, marketing, always up in the products business, always telling product people are not good enough. You know those people I'm talking about. Those are my best allies because they're very loud. So what do? I go to them and I say, yes, I just hired a new product manager, Jennifer. She's super smart. She's amazing. But Jennifer is new to our company. She doesn't know anything about our business. And you know what? You are the smartest person that I know. Yes, I am kissing ass. Get over it. What am I doing psychologically for that person? I'm like, yes, I am the smartest person here. I want you to teach Jennifer all the things that you know. Show her the ropes in the company. Let her spend some time shadowing you. Now, there's a psychology behind this. Because this person is the loudest, most obnoxious. The other people that are always like, that product manager is not smart. But see, all of a sudden, they can't say that ever again. Because guess what? If you say Jennifer is not smart, I say to you, who taught Jennifer all she knows? You did. You see? Now also, what am I doing? I'm lending trust. Because when Jennifer starts to work, Jennifer already knows you. You are the loudest, most annoying person in the company. You taught her things, but also you will be her biggest obstacle in the future. So she already has a relationship with you. And now you're going to be telling people, oh, have you met Jennifer? She's a new person on this hire. I make you take her to meetings. You are now going to be introducing Jennifer to other people. Look at Jennifer. I am teaching her. You're very proud. Now, I know product people are proud people too. You're making me feel like I don't know anything. I promise you this. That lasts like 9 seconds in the organization. Literally, everybody will forget why this person knows you, loves you, cares about you, and why you're trusted. They will only know that you know. There's a period of discomfort, of learning that you have to instigate for new people when you're coaching them. This is a period where you say, you know nothing. I don't care if you worked at Google. I don't care if you build a rocket ship. You don't know our company, our business, our industry like we do. So I want you to just take a little piece of humble pie. I am going to introduce you like the person that doesn't know anything. And your job is to soak up the relationships and build the trust and to learn about these people. I am emphasizing this for you all because, part of why I do this personally, I want to see the people in the organization to see me walking around with the new hire. Because they say, oh, Christian is talking to the new product manager. If you like me, you have to like them. If you trust me, you have to trust them, because somehow I know them. The new manager is like, look at me, I'm working with the CEO or the boss, like I'm friendly. It makes them feel good. Okay? So super important here. Relationships are important. Now I need to go into practical application of discovery. The product manager, no matter how good they are, they don't know how things work in the organization. We don't know what techniques will work well and what doesn't. So what do? I create a scenario. I bring their real team into the bootcamp and they try to solve a problem together. Now I'm doing a couple of things here. In some ways, I'm also coaching managers on how to coach. When I do the bootcamp, many other people teach several aspects of the bootcamp because I'm teaching them how to coach other people. Right? I do many trust building sessions in there. I do expectation setting what I expect from product managers. The whole idea is that in 1 week, the product manager should come up with clear things. I know how decisions are made here. I know who the players are. I know what's important to the company now, right? I know how to get people to trust me. I know who trusts me. I know the team is going to trust me because they've seen me work in this, right? I know what the most important thing to do is right now. This is super powerful for setting people up. I also do personality tests, team building exercises in there, because I'm actually using this to learn about you and the things I will need to coach you on. I don't want surprises. I don't want like 3 months into this, I'm like, oh, you really suck. No, we're going to learn that in the bootcamp because I'm going to bring a real customer in. And because you want to uncover this early. We set people up to fail because we throw them in pressured environments. And they have this mental expectation. I am accountable for my own outcome. This is a fundamental shift. You are accountable for their competence and their potential. Okay, let's get into the dojo so that we can go tactical with coaching. I want a volunteer to be my new, my product manager hire. Who is going to volunteer here? No, Jennifer, I know I have picked on you all through. You've been a great sport. If you want to volunteer, I unfortunately don't have the chat on. Please unmute your mic and say, use me, I am brave.
Use me.
Oh, Jennifer, you are too nice. I want somebody else that I have not picked up already.
You can use me.
All right, Pranav, is that how we pronounce your name? Lovely, Pranav.
That's right.
All right, Pranav, you're my product manager hire. We've gone through onboarding. You know, it's been 3 months, you're in here. Now, I'm going to walk you through some tactical techniques we use to coach people so that we're all in this. So, okay, so we're going to now start role playing. The first thing I want to do is an assessment. So, hey, Pranav, how are we doing, buddy?
Christian, I think I'm sinking. There's this customer that keeps demanding items from me. I don't know how to say no to them.
Ah, boy. Well, Pranav, I would love to know more about this. But right now, I want to make sure as your manager and as your leader, I am supporting you in your personal and professional growth, and I can help you through these problems. So today what I want to do is I want to just talk about what you think you need to know and the skills you need to have to be successful in your job. So Pranav, tell me, what are like the top 5 things or skills you think you need to be very good at to be successful in your job?
Setting the vision with the product development team. I think this some of the things that I observe, so that is definitely important. So that's one. Second is communicating with the field. Things that come up sometimes just fall through the cracks. So I would love to understand how I communicate better. 3, taking time to actually look at data, because I tend to go end to end, lots of fires and not looking at data. 4th, potentially growing myself. Like I would love to understand how I can become a better communicator, potentially have people working for me a year from now. And then 5th, I would love to just understand how to connect with the C-suite better.
Wow. Well, Pranav, you're now a senior product manager, and I think you're spot on some of these things as being very important for your personal and career goal. I was also thinking, just based on product knowledge, like I have observed that, in this role, you need to have a strong, deep knowledge of the customer and the users. Do you agree that that's a good thing you need to do at this stage too?
Yes, agree completely.
Okay. I think so too. So I think the customers and the stakeholders. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you think it is to know the customers at this level?
I would say it's a 10 without a doubt.
Oh, this is a very important. Okay. What about communication with the field, working with stakeholders? How important do you think it is on a scale of 1 to 10?
If customer knowledge is 10, communication with the field is probably an 8.
Okay, it's an 8. Okay. I mean, I think it's like a 7 given where you are, but I think I can see how an 8 could make sense here. What about data? Deep knowledge of the data, feeling comfortable with data. How important do you think this is?
I think it's between the stakeholder and customers, because talking to customers is very subjective to me, and I'm a very structured person. So I want to look at the data to ensure that I'm not listening to the crying customer, and I'm actually validating that with data. So it would be a 9 if stakeholder was an 8.
Well, I will tell you what I think in your role, Pranav, because when I think about the two important things, I see customer insights and data as being very important. Right now, we're not looking for our customers to tell us what to build, but I think a deep understanding of the customer will help us truly decide on discover the best tools. And I think data beats opinions. So it would be very good to do. You know what? This is a lot of things now. Now, Kumar, Pranav, you said knowing the customer is a 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you think you know our customers, Pranav?
I would say 3. It's probably at a 3 or a 4, where I've talked to a few customers, but most often it's been through sales deals where the sales guy brings me into meetings that I get to know them.
Yeah. So you're at a 3 or a 4, and this is.
Let's go with 3, Christian. I'll be honest. I have to be honest with my manager. So it's a 3 because it's only sales deal that I see them through.
Well, look, Pranav, I appreciate your honesty and candor. As your manager, I am hoping I am giving you enough trust to be vulnerable with me. Because look, let me be clear about this. It is not your fault that you're a 3. It's my responsibility to get you from a 3 to where you need to be. Mm-hmm. I think at the minimum, we need to get you to be a 7.
Okay.
You agree? Okay. Now, what about data? You said it's a 9, but how well do you think you know our data?
I think I know our data well enough from a pure metric perspective and knowing what feature moves it. So I would say it's a 6 or a 7. I don't know what it means in the real world when customers stop using a feature. Well, why the whys are missing? The what and the hows are there, but the whys are missing. So I would say a 6 or a 7 on the data knowledge.
Okay. And what about communication with the field?
I actually think I'm doing a good job. I'm actually attending training sessions, enablement sessions, doing 10-minute stuff.
So you're very good. That's why you have sales friends. I see you enjoyed liking the sales people.
Yeah.
All right, Pranav. Look, I'm sure there are many things we could work on, but you've said knowing the customer is super important, and knowing the data is super important, and the field. But you've marked the customers, and you're feeling like a 3. So Kumar, we now have to work together. My goal is to get you from a 3 to a 7 with knowing the customers.
Right.
So this is what I would love us to do. Okay. I'm going to recap our conversation here. I'll send you an email but I want to give some thought to how I can help you, because I know Paulo very well. Paulo is an amazing sales leader. He's a good friend of mine. So I'm going to call Paulo up, see if he can set up some customer meetings. But now I'm going to go with you to those customer meetings. And we're going to spend time in discovery. I might do the first 2 myself, and I want you to observe. Then I want you to try to do some. Okay? So over the next 3 months, I will take it as a goal to set up maybe 10 meetings with customers. And we are going to try to attend those together. What do you think about that?
I would love that. My biggest hesitation has been, how do I make Apollo recognize that I need customer input? So your word with him will help a lot.
Yeah, and you know what? Let me not do it alone. When I'm about to call Paulo up to ask him the favor, I want you to be in my office, okay? So that you can see how I make Paulo feel comfortable with setting up a meeting for me. What do you think about that?
I would love that.
Okay, and so thank you for role playing with me on this. I want you all to see what I just did there. I just tackled 3 things. I did an assessment, okay, which is, you know, there are areas for product people that we do. We access product knowledge, deep knowledge of the customer, the data, the business, the industry, and the product. We can go in deep to that. We can do an assessment on process skills and techniques, your ability to do product discovery, optimization, delivery, development in here. We can also do an assessment on people skills, team collaboration, stakeholder collaboration, evangelism, leadership. Now, after we've done that assessment, we have moved into a development plan. You could see me doing that with him. And the first thing I did was like a gap analysis. What's the level of importance of this skill, right? And where do you fit in on this? Let me be very clear about this. If Pranav comes to my office and the second I say, let's talk about your skills, and Pranav is like, oh my goodness, he wants to fire me. Stop the meeting. There is no trust. Be like, Pranav, let's go out and have some drinks, because apparently we are not on the same page yet. See, it's often a dilemma. People think their managers are like, got you police. The manager is here to fire me and they are looking for ways to fire me. There's no benefit. Like if I were arguing with Pranav, like, how well do you know your customer? Pranav is like, I'm like a 7. And I'm like, Pranav, I don't really know. I think you're like a 5. Can you explain to me what things you think demonstrate that you're like a 7? We talk about it. See, let me be clear. It's not to my benefit that Pranav is a 5. It actually makes me look bad if Pranav is a 3 or a 4, because my job is to coach him to competence. I know it blows people's minds to think about these models in this way. I get people all the time that they come to me and they say, oh my goodness, my employee Pranav, he's terrible, he sucks. I said, what do you mean? Who hired him? I did. So did you make a bad hire for them? Or they'll say, no, I didn't hire him. I inherited him from another manager. Well, it's your job to coach him. I never talk bad about my employees because I look bad. Look, my team knows in front of anybody, I would take the heat for them. Why did we fail on this? It's my fault. I did not describe clearly the context and stuff. The team sees me protect them, and then I can drill them in my office. But there's trust that I will always take the bite, because there's nothing that makes you look good. But that's because you haven't mentally figured out that you're only as strong as your weakest team member. So I do the gap analysis, I read the assessment, I allow the employee to feel some ownership around this. We decide on which one is very important for us to tackle, because you can't coach everything overnight. It's too much to focus on. But now I know the best thing I can do for Pranav, he thinks the best thing is, I think the best thing is, the company thinks the best thing is for him to get better with customers. And then we are creating a coaching plan to make it happen. We are saying, okay, tactically, this is what I'm going to do to contribute. See, if I want Stephanie to get better at public speaking, somebody needs to hear her speak in public and then give her feedback. What do you think? She's just going to record herself in the mirror and tell herself, if she knew how to do it by herself, she would have done it. This is the important dynamic that we have to tackle. Okay, did that help? And I'll send these slides for you all. I'm trying to tactically manage our time. How many minutes do we have left? 0?
Hi, Christian. So we're gonna, we have about 3 to 4 minutes, and we're gonna start our next session.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna start 5 minutes late. So we'll start at 11:35 for everyone who's in the audience. So you have like we'll say like 3 or 4 minutes left.
Okay, perfect. Let's wrap up this. Next important tool, the one-on-one. Okay, got to be clear about this. The one-on-one is not for you. The one-on-one is not a status update. The one-on-one is where you execute against this development plan, this coaching plan. It is for the personal and professional growth of people. I promise you this. People tell me all the time, when do I get the status? If you care about the person, you will get the status. I promise you this. Okay? You have to understand the purpose of the one-on-one is to help the person develop and improve. So you have to understand the relationship is based on trust. You have to have it frequently. It is holy. Don't push a one-on-one. It sends the wrong message. I'm not important enough. I get people all the time that tell me, well, Christian, all my employees do. Have you met Pranav? He just whines and he complains all the time. And let me be very clear. If you're a leader of product people, your job is part-time therapist. Get over it. Okay? Product is hard. People in product are going to get emotionally and verbally abused sometimes. And your job is to remind them why they are important, why we value their work, and why it's meaningful for them to be in the team, and why the work they are doing is important. You're going to encourage and inspire them so that they can come back the next day and take more abuse. I'm kidding. Okay? Excellent. All right. Let me close by recapping some tools for you all. Yeah. Okay? Leaders, culture, and coaching. This is the key aspect of your job. Some anti-patterns that I see that destroy this, right? Managers that just don't care, managers that are used to micromanaging, managers that don't listen, right? Managers that don't provide difficult feedback, insecure or incompetent managers. I've never managed people before, and manager that doesn't cut their losses. Okay? So, next steps. If you're a leader here, set the bar high for your managers. Create coaching plans for each person. Think about a new employee onboarding technique. I'm going to stress this as the last important point. You will not get better at coaching by avoiding coaching. You will not get better at managing people by avoiding managing people. You will not get better at interviewing by avoiding all of these things. You've got to practice leveraging these tools. Okay? It has been my highest honor trying to make up this time to do this. I'm sure we could spend hours on this topic doing this. Please keep in touch. If you want a great book on this topic, we're coming out with a new book called Empowered, where Maddie and Chris really go into this. I write a chapter or two in it about onboarding and getting employees up to speed. It's an excellent read around this topic. Okay. I know we don't have time for questions, but I'm going to try to stay online to connect with people through different sessions too as well. We do have the survey for feedback at the end. Please feel free to share your thoughts and your feedback. Thank you all for making the time. It's been a really fun treat to do this.